Good day, everyone. Yesterday we were talking about demand and demand substitutes. Just to rephrase on that again, to see if you understand the concept of substitutes. Substitutes are two products that can basically replace each other and give you the same satisfaction. Now, when we look at compliments, it's not like when somebody gives you a compliment, oh, you look lovely today, you actually washed your hair, it looks good on you, for example. Guys, it's just a joke. But it's not that type of compliment. A compliment means products that goes well together with each other. So imagine that you are sitting at your breakfast table, you have your bowl of cereal in front of you, and then you need some complementary goods to go with the cereal, except if you eat dry cereal. But in normal cases, we will add some milk and we will add some sugar to make our bowl of cereal complete, and that will be our complementary goods. Now they tell us, if a fall in the price of one product raises the demand for another commodity, we say that the two commodities are complementary to each other. In other words, they are complementing each other, not in words but in actions. Meaning, cereal without milk is not that nice. Coffee or tea without milk is not that nice. Okay, we can further look into things like a remote without batteries won't be able to work if it wasn't for the complementary product of batteries for the remote. But here in our example, just to keep it simple, we're going to look at tea and milk. Consider tea and milk. A change in the price of one will cause a change in the demand of another. Now, when we talk about for another, we are actually referring to the complementary product. For example, a change in the production cost of tea will make tea available at lower prices. So if we look here at figure 1.5, a change in the supply of tea, what do we see? We see that there was an increase in the supply SS of tea to S1. So there were more tea produced, or an increase in the production of tea, right? But what normally happens to the price? Okay, if there's too much tea produced, what will normally happen with the price? The price will always also decrease from P then to P1. And because the price of tea is now so cheap, we'll then go and look for substitute products to go with tea, for example. So I don't know, it can be honey, if you like honey in your tea, it can be sugar, it can be milk, so any of those products. All right. So then in figure 1.6, if there's a change in the demand for milk, so let's take milk as an example of a complementary good. Because tea is so cheap now, we bought a lot of tea. So what's going to happen now to the demand of the complementary good? The demand of the complementary good will then increase from DD to D1. So it will shift outwards and to the right. All right, and the price of milk, you will see here, P will increase to P1. And the quantity obviously will increase from Q to Q1. There is thus an inverse or negative relationship between the price of a good and the quantity demanded of its complement. Guys, so tea was now on a sale. People bought a lot of tea, but without your tea, you don't drink milk without your tea. So you need to buy more milk. So immediately in the market, the increase for milk, the demand for milk, would have increased from D up to D1. And that will have an effect that the price of milk will increase because the producers of milk were not ready for this change. So they don't necessarily made more milk. So to stop people at some point from buying milk, they will start to increase the price of milk again from P to P1. Then the complementary relationship between tea and milk. I told you with the substitute, you would have seen that your relationship graph, just to add on there, RR stands for relationship. Relationships graph, they would have looked like a supply graph. Okay, it means if there's an increase in the price, that there will be an increase in the quantity demanded of another product. All right, so inverse means the same, positive relationship. Right, so here we are looking at basically a demand curve. And with the demand curve, we can see that if there's a drop in the price of one product from P to P1, there will actually be an increase in the quantity demanded of the complementary product from Q to Q1. So cheap is very special. It's on a big special. We bought a lot of tea, and then because of that, we can increase the amount of milk that we are buying. So just to recap again, P stands for price. P1 or Q1 will always show you the difference that is taking place. You'll normally have a Q there and then a Q1. Q stands for quantity, if you didn't know, and then R stands for the relationship. And complementary goods has an inverse or a negative relationship between the price of a good and the quantity demanded of another product called a complementary good. Right, supply relationships, we will look at a bit again in detail tomorrow. It's going to be basically the same thing. We are going to see again substitutes, we're going to see complements, and then the effect it has on our suppliers. Again, I want to ask you to please go to your previous slides about my complements. You will see again that there was 3 slides. Okay, here's the 3 slides. 1.5, 1.6, 1.7. Again, what I want you to do in your red books is going to take each of the graphs, you can write them next to each other, and then as an exercise, you are going to draw them 5 of each graph underneath each other. Please remember your labeling. Please remember your arrows. Okay. If they on some graphs did not indicate it, even the P's and the P1s and the Q and the Q1s, you can do that. You can show that the quantity supplied is increasing from Q to Q1. The price in this case would have also increased from P to P1. So you can increase or indicate that on your graph.